what's up, YouTube? This is your host with the most, King Geo in the house. Well, I want to start off this day by saying, hey, God bless you, God, right? And above everything, we put God first. Well, anyway, today's video is going to be very simple. And I was trying to make it concise, but I doubt it's going to be concise. But this is going to be a video to the Republican Party. People who are Republicans. Now, I've been told that if I do a video and I give the props to the Republican Party, I have a lot of subscribers. But this is not for subscriber purposes. This is for purposes of knowledge. Okay, now we have a president who, by all means, I really don't care if he concedes or not. I really don't. That part to me does not bother me. What bothers me the most is that he's procrastinating. He is embedding ideas into people who don't know any better, and that's unfortunate. I don't want to get into statistics. And I don't want to get into that because I don't want to degrade anyone, But it just seems to me that it's so amazing how can a Republican Party, a bunch of people, take what the President of the United States says as if that's the word because he's the President of the United States. And when I say this is because this man is prolonging the inevitable of him getting out of the presidency. But as he's prolonging this, he's embedding in the brains of a lot of millions of Americans that somehow this election was rigged, that somehow that this election was manipulated, and not just him. A lot of the right-wing people, Ted Cruz, who is a disgrace to the Republican Party, who people don't see that he's just doing this so he can gain money, so he can run for the 2024 for the presidency. That's what he's doing it for. He knows he cannot win. He's an attorney. He knows he cannot win. And I'll get to you in a few moments on that. And so they're perpetuating an idea in the brains of people that is not true. Now you think about this. If there were any crude evidence that there was election fraud, that should have been the first thing that should have been presented in court. As you know, there have been cases where he's taken this to court to his own judges that he appointed. And they said there is no case, there is no evidence of fraud. Some people see a video and they see a person taking this laptop and put it. I can take this laptop and put it on my desk, or I can take this laptop, take it away from the desk, and put it here and say, oh, and already someone assumes that I'm doing this and I'm about to manipulate this laptop. So with that little word in itself, everybody goes around and say, oh, look, King Geo did this, King Geo did that. When King Geo was just taking this laptop, I removed it from the table, I placed it underneath my arm to go take it somewhere else. That's all I did. So with doing that motion in itself, people, some conspiracy theorists would say that I was doing some fraud. Now we all aware that all these places have cameras. Is every election perfect? No. But to say that there were dead people voting, but they didn't show no evidence of that. When they said that the signatures didn't match, there was no evidence of that. Georgia just came out the other day saying that 99.9% of their signatures did match. This is a Republican state. Okay? Wisconsin did a recount by hand, and it matched. And more votes came to vote. More votes were for Trump, and there were more votes for Biden. But the point here is that everything that needed to be done is done. I'm not saying, hey, if you want to contest the election in itself on base that I think that we're missing votes here, we're missing votes there, fine, you can do that. You have the right to contest the process that it was done to a point. Once your resources go in, you stop. Okay, this is enough. Let the American people breathe. Let them transition, and whatever the case may be, whatever follows. But to go up to January the 2nd, to still come up with this cockamamie idea that this election was frauded, when he is the only one who's done this claim. As you can tell, see, this is why the Republican people or people in the Republican side don't think. How can this election be rigged? Okay, when the Senate did not lose a seat, and the Senate is run by the Republican Party. Okay, the House of Representatives, which was majority Democrat, lost seats to the Republicans. You gained governors became from blue states to red state. So how is it that none of these so-called rigged election or voter was towards these people, the senators, the governors, the mayors, but it was not the mayors, but the senators and governors, but it did not favor the president of the United States when they're all in the same ballot. I know here in North Carolina, everyone is in the same ballot. You understand me? There was no fraud from the Minions part. They let everything, they did it, everybody speak. They let everybody spoke. And then when all the courts, when everything was done through the courts, what did the Minions say? Cease and desist, or I will sue. Because you have no proof that we did whatever that we did what you're saying. And everybody, now you don't see Fox, you don't see Newsmax, you don't see any NAC, you don't do any of them. You don't see none. They didn't even see the president of the United States saying that the Minion did something wrong. Because they were waiting for everything to happen, which I knew was going to happen anyway, for them to speak. Because they're not going to speak while things are going in court. They let everything settle down, and then they say, boom. So they're perpetrating a lie in itself, so you can believe. So that when the electoral votes come, I mean, when it comes to Wednesday, which is another thing I want to talk about. When it comes to Wednesday, they have some basis, and a lot of people who are not literate savvy, should I say, don't take the time to read. Okay, so we're going back to the court thing. So no courts have said that the courts have said that there is no evidence. Even the Supreme Court, even the justices that he chose that were confirmed by his Senate, said that there was no case. So what does that tell you? These are people who have studied law. These are people who are lawyers and then became judges, because you have to become a judge, you have to be a lawyer, or you are a lawyer. And they said, no, there is no evidence. Courts have said, I thought you was going to come to me, I thought you was going to come to me with facts. Not with facts, with evidence, not facts, evidence. Because, you can go, in a civil matter, you could take a dissertation, and that's your witness. Your witness, what that witness or witnesses say in the camera, like I'm doing now, that's taken as evidence. So you can do that in a civil case, but in a case like this, you can't do that. You could take affidavits. Okay, this person. Okay, are you willing to say this in court? Yeah, but that goes with merit. That goes with. I just can't say, Your Honor. I saw King Geo take this chip, insert this chip, put it in his pocket, and then put another chip. I saw that with my own eyes. That's just hearsay. No, but if I say, Your Honor, you see this video? I took this video, and you can see King Geo, whether he took out this card, put it in his pocket, and then puts another card there when he's not supposed to do that, then that creates a doubt. When that creates a doubt, he said, whoa, why was King Geo doing this? So let me pause this. Let me call on King Geo, see what King Geo was doing. Why was he putting this card that belongs in somewhere else? As protocol says, that maybe, let's say, you remove the card from here, you put it in an envelope, you place it in a secure place where the cameras continue, and then you take out another card, and let's just say that was the protocol. So why did King Geo divert from that protocol and go somewhere and do something different? So I want to hear about King Geo. I want to see what King Geo has to say about this. So that's where you have now you have the witnesses saying it. You have the evidence to back that up, and now you get King Geo to say, why was King Geo putting that card in his pocket? Okay, that's the way you do it. But they had nothing. They just had hearsay. And then you have, and then you have an attorney who's Rudy Giuliani. Rudy Giuliani is not a civil case attorney. He is not an attorney in politics. He doesn't know anything about political law. He's a criminal attorney. That's what he is. When you study law, you have different kinds of law. You don't become a criminal attorney. Study criminal law, and then you can say you're diverse. If you didn't study in political law, that doesn't work that way. Okay, so for him to hire a criminal attorney to do a political case, that was wrong. But that's on him. That's how that's his choice, or whatever the case may be. We all know that Giuliani's doing it for money. We know Ted Cruz is doing it for money, for his campaign. Okay, this man is a disgrace to the Republican Party. To be honest with you, anyone who signs the petition to go with this man is a disgrace. All those politicians that they say, I doubt they're going to do, but they say that they're going to go on Wednesday and they're going to block the election for Biden to confirm it. They, it's ludicrous. Okay, yes, you can object. Yes, you can object. And then after you do the objection, it takes 2 hours for it gets put on hold on 2 hours. And then after that 2 hours, then they decide to vote on that objection. But what happens, the things that the Republican Party is not telling you is that the majority of the voters, the majority is in that election process, in that process that's going to come June 6th, are Democrats. Democrats are not going to allow this to happen. So they may object, but when it comes to vote on the objection, the one who's going to vote over that objection that is going to become ludicrous is going to be the Democrats. They hold more seats, they hold more power in that aspect than the Republicans do. You can look it up. So that's what's going to, if it does happen, if it gets to that extreme, that's what's going to happen. The Democrats are going to say, no, this is no good. Either way, Biden becomes president of the United States. He becomes confirmed that on January 20th, he's going to become the president of the United States. Okay? These are the things that you got to learn. So before we speak out loud and say, oh, this was fraud, this was this was that. No. We got to learn to do research in order for you to gain knowledge. You just don't gain knowledge if you don't do the research. You can't if I get diagnosed with cancer, I'm not going to go just to one doctor. I'm going to go get another opinion because I would like to get another opinion from another doctor. And if that doctor or several doctors confirm what the first doctor said, and then this is what we have. Okay? But these doctors, some of them go with evidence, which is what came out. So, okay, some people are satisfied with just one doctor. Some people go to multiple doctors because the reality hasn't hit, or they want to get more confirmation that this is what's going on, so we can have more choices. Okay, because doctors have different ideas. Every doctor is different. So when he says, the president says, "Oh, this is a fraud," show me that it's fraud. Just don't take his word for it or her word for it. Take the word. Do the research. Do where has it been proven that there is fraud. Just don't say it. Because you're antagonizing, you're enticing people's mind who are already either the biggest tourist policy, the biggest tourist racist, the biggest about everything. They're gonna say, "Oh yeah, the Democrats did this, the Democrats that." And then you have, maybe if it was the other way around, I'd be saying the same thing. Where's the proof? This has nothing to do with Democrats or Republicans. It has nothing to do with a system where the president of the United States lost, a system where the people chose a different candidate. A lot of people out there put it on Facebook and this and that. Oh, how could it be? How could he win when there's more voters than registered voters? When there's more votes than registered voters? And people don't understand. They don't do the research that in 2016, okay, Donald Trump had 62 million votes, and Hillary Clinton had 65 million. And in 2020. He had 74 million votes. 2016, 62 million. In 2020, 74 million. So if you're going by the aspect of how did Biden get 27 million more votes? So how did Donald Trump get 12 million more votes in 2016? If we're going to analyze that, tell me, does that make any sense? So how did Donald Trump gain 12 million votes from 2016, and Biden had 80 million or 82 million or 80 million or 80 million votes? Okay, so they're looking at Biden's rise, but they're not. But you can't look at Biden's rise because Biden didn't run for president in 2016. So let's say Hillary, because more people voted for Hillary. 65 million, and now 15 more million people voted for Biden because more people came out. There are more people registered to vote. There was more people registered to vote this year, last year, than any other year before. Than any other presidential runoff. Not runoff. Any presidential run. So that just tells you that more people went out to vote. That just tells you that more people registered to vote. So, but you get the mind. Some people put up in the news, oh, there was more votes, there was more voters, there was no votes than registered voters, and they run up to the horses with that, not thinking, hello. If Donald Trump got 65 to 62 million votes in 2016, and in 2020 he got 72 million, 74 million. That's a big jump. So what does that tell you? That more Republicans voted this year in 2020 than they did in 2016. They didn't know anything about Donald Trump back then. So less people voted. 65 million, 62 million, still a lot of people, but it still voted. So you can't, if you want to make comparison, you got to come out with, you got to think with your ideas. You got to think with your brain. You just can't say, oh, there's more voters. There were more votes than registered voters. That doesn't make any sense. You could say this. You could say, you know what? You could go to a town and say there's a population of 100 people, and when the votes came in, there's 150 votes, but it's only 100 people. How did that happen? And you look at the registry, but when you have 100 people, when you have 100 votes, 100 people, 100 registered voters, and 150, how did that happen? So there, there was some fraud there. So that you can investigate. But you know that all you got to do is look up on the computer how many registered, because it's easy, how many registered voters, and the computer will tell you, when you look into the database, it will tell you how many registered voters there is. So the evidence is there. There's no more votes than registered voters. Okay? There's the evidence. You can look it up. You can have someone who, if you have someone that works with the DNC or the Republican Party, they can look it up. They can look it up. It's simple. It's in their power. It's free information. Okay? So when the tallies come up this year, and they say this is how many registered voters there were in the Democrat Party, and this is how many registered voters there were in the Republican Party, then you're going to say to yourself, well, I just don't like our democracy, whether for the Republican or Democrat, to be drained or to be dragged the way it is now. If you are a true Republican, you get away from this nonsense of the President of the United States with his dumb ideas. You get away from Ted Cruz's dumb idea. You get away from the Republicans that wanted to sue Pence. And Pence doesn't have the power to overturn. Pence is there for MC. This is a ceremonial thing for Pence. Every vice president does this. They don't have the power to overturn anything when it comes to January 6th. They don't. So this notion again, that's going to happen, and people who are not educated or don't want to do the research, this is what happens. So they get in their minds, because they get in their minds that, okay, this person said this is true, and they don't go out there and do the research. This is Donald Trump is just dictatorship. If it doesn't go his way, it's no good. Either it's my way or the highway. And I need you guys to let this go. Let the process happen. It's going to happen regardless you like it or not. And you guys live for 4 years with a disgruntled mind, and you can accept it and go with the flow. And if Biden doesn't do his job in 4 years, then you throw him out. Because a lot of things cannot be done in 4 years. It takes more than 4 years to do things. Okay? And a lot of people say, oh, the media wasn't fair to Donald Trump. The media wasn't there. No, Donald Trump wasn't fair to himself. Because everything that Donald Trump said, it was debunked. Everything that he did, like when he went to the presidential debate with Biden, and he said that China was the one that the tariffs of China was the one that paid for the farmers' aid. No, the China's tariffs did not pay for the farmers' aid. Your taxpayers' money paid for the farmers' aid. You can look that up. In an age, I can't believe that in the age that we are living now, that everything is technological, that you can just, with your fingertips, you can just put things in the computer and boom, it pops up. It's not back in the 80s or the 70s that you have a big stack of encyclopedias to look through, or you have to go to a library, or you have to go here, you have to get information from the source, and how that source got that information. This is just at the tip of your finger. The tip of your finger, your fingers. You just type it in, and you will forget vast knowledge. Now, which source you want to believe, that's a whole different story. But if one source says something and the other source says the same thing, and the other source says the thing, the other source says the thing, so there's a connection to that. Okay, so I wish that people would be more open-minded and stop taking people's word for it. God says that damn is a man who trusted another man. You cannot trust in man, because man is weak. We humans commit a lot of foul things that we're not supposed to, but we do them. So you cannot hold a lot of weight to that. But what you can hold weight is to evidence. Evidence that's been proven to you. Evidence that has been given to you so you can see. Not just words, but evidence. And this is where we have gone to. That we're taking a man's word. There was fraud. That there was just when there's no proof. If you can show me proof, then hey, I'm with you. I don't care if I may not like you, but if you show me proof, I say, you know what, that's not fair, man. They're doing that man wrong. Then I'm with you. But just to have yourself talk and talk and talk, and you know, I'm grateful to God that I am blessed with an astute mind, that I can think for myself, that I can do the research, that I can take the time and say, you know what, I'm gonna read into this. Because when some of my YouTubers, when some of the subscribers come to me and say, King Gio, you know, this happened, I quickly go boom and I research it. And if what they're saying is true, boom, you're right. You are absolutely, because if I don't know something, I'm going to do the research. I'm not going to talk just to talk. I'm not going to do that. That's not my thing. It's never been my style. So do the research. January 6th is coming. Nothing really major is going to happen. I don't want people to go crazy and start rioting and looting, whatever the case may be. Just, if you're a Republican and you love your party and you love what it stands for, stay aside to this man and just hold your ground and stick to your belief. Don't listen to this man, but stick to your belief. That trust me, that if Biden doesn't do what he's supposed to do in 2006, and not just Biden, guys, and not just Biden, because Biden, the president, is just one piece of the element. You got to look at the House of Representatives and you have to look at the Senate, because if the president is gonna say, it could be Donald Trump or it could be whoever it is, could say one thing, and if the Senate and the House do not approve, it would not go through. You just saw the Donald Trump signed a bill for the defense bill, and they vetoed it. They override his veto. You know, they override his veto because the Senate can do that if they have a majority vote. So it's not just the president. The president is a component of speak. He speaks and he's the leader, but the one who actually put the law in place is the senators in the House of Representatives. Without them, you cannot pass a law. It's impossible. If the House of Representatives says no and the Senate says yes, you're in an impasse. You cannot come into an agreement. It has to be bipartisan. It has to be both the House and the Senate has to agree. And the president signs. Once the president signs, it becomes law. If not, they can also veto. They can override them. But as you can see, they never overrid them in 9 tries, and this is the first time they did. So don't say, oh, Biden has to do this or Donald Trump has to do this, because he can have the best. Donald Trump can have the best idea in the world, but if the Senate and the House of Representatives do not approve it, then it's moot.